it on, and we'll have a conversation back and forth about what is best way to care for the puppy, what stage is she in on day 3, very specific questions that are answered, where before I could go to the web and I could Google things and say, okay, let me Google puppy first cycle female, like, and Google these things. All that work is now done for us, where you can just talk to ChatGPT, hit that little headphone button down at the bottom, and just have a conversation. In fact, to have some fun, I put 2 phones next to each other and had them. I told them they were on a date and to introduce themselves. And I listened for probably 10 minutes to them talking and making small talk on their date. But this is the kind of thing that I think is a huge breakthrough. Put it on voice, set it down, have a conversation, and ask some questions. Another one was I ambushed my wife. I'm sorry about this, but she walked in the room and I put my phone down and said, my wife refuses to watch the series Breaking Bad with me. Can you give her some reasons why she should watch it? And it spelled out great things. It spelled out character development and storyline and popularity. And so it helped me win in that argument. So yes, open ChatGPT, lower right corner, you'll have a headphone icon when you start a new chat, right? Not in your list of active chats, but when you start a new chat, lower right is headphones. Put your phone down and have a conversation with it. I probably do that 8 times a day now. My air conditioner was out today. I had a conversation with it. What are some things I should check? I have a Lennox. I read the model number of my air conditioner to the darn thing, and it told me, oh, you have that? Here's what to do, and told me exactly what to do with the model number I have. It is indispensable to me now. We can't go back. You cannot take away my ChatGPT language model.
That's
it
okay,
looks like
Pete. Okay,
Llewellyn
Pete,
is ready.
that is not anything about the Zoom AI companion. That is a secondary window application on your computer.
Oh yeah. Maybe
An
I'm complaining.
AI companion is just a Zoom feature.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, maybe I misunderstood. I thought somebody was asking me about the AI companion I brought with me tonight, who's listening to us and answering questions and stuff. Oh, I think the question was specifically about the Zoom AI companion, which just it takes notes for you, summarizes who's talking, what they're saying, what the to-dos are, what the questions were. It'll all be summarized there in Zoom.
That'll be helpful.
2 hands up.
Llewellyn and then Mary.
Okay, I think I have this figured out now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't know how to operate an iPad, and I'm was on my iPhone as well. So anyway, my favorite use of AI that I've heard about was used by elephant researchers, and that publication was just very recent in the last week or so. We can't hear a lot of what elephants are saying to each other, but computers can. And the scientists entered lots of elephant rumbles into computers, into an AI, whatever, and found that the elephants were responding to certain rumbles between one another. And from that, they are positing that elephants give each other's names. And so a mother elephant has a name for her baby, and that baby knows that name, and others in the community also know that baby's name and use it. And that's all possible through AI evaluation.
Remarkable. I love that. That is remarkable. That is a positive and cool use of AI.
Very, very impressive.
Yeah, I bet Melissa Green could find the link for that and post it. I know I can't, but I sent it to her, so I bet she can post it in the chat. It's beautiful research.
Any other questions?
Mary.
Yes, I was wondering, I'm kind of a chicken to get chat AI and all that, but do you think that when Apple Intelligence is on, we will have pretty much the same capabilities?
Yeah, that's a great. Oh, go ahead, Al.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that's a great call out. I think no, the answer is no. Oddly, it'll be very different capabilities because Apple will do it their way. What they have done is really started at privacy. Apple had started at privacy and is taking a look at the way information is used. For instance, I have a friend who asked me to write a business plan, and we put a bunch of his numbers into AI, write his business numbers into AI. And he asked me after we hit the enter key, he goes, when we're done, we take my numbers out of AI, don't we? And I say, oh, no. AI is like a black hole. Anything that goes in there gets swallowed up by AI, and you can't get your information back, and it now belongs to them, and it's been added to their collective knowledge. So Apple looked at that and said, wow, AI is at least dangerous for consumers, because my face is in an AI computer, and images of me can be generated at any time by someone, I suppose, if they had the desire to do something like that. So I do think that the concern for malice or nefarious activity is really a huge concern. Apple started at privacy and said, the first thing we got to do is make sure we reassure our customers, unlike others, is that their data stays on their device and doesn't go into the AI black hole. That was the first thing they did, which I appreciate. There's actually a secure enclave, a piece of hardware on the devices that will allow for AI computation to happen on device. We're talking a bit about how these machines lately, like the iPad I'm on now, are quite overpowered for what we're doing today, but AI demands a lot of computational power. So I think they're overpowering them now. So when we get AI in there, it'll be powerful enough to run it. So Apple started with security. They decided that we're going to protect our customers' data. We're going to keep it in context too. One thing that AI doesn't have, like ChatGPT here, doesn't know me, doesn't know my schedule, doesn't know who's in my contacts, doesn't know who's in my photos. Apple's AI will. It'll be contextual to you. So if you say, send me all the things Barbara has emailed me in the last 2 years, it will then go find those and pull them up for you, because it understands the context of you and who you associate with. I think that's a very different product. Like ChatGPT is okay for general knowledge, but I stump it regularly. We have arguments and I bring it to its knees because it just isn't there where it needs to be. It doesn't understand deception very well. It doesn't understand inaccuracies very well, which I think is somewhat dangerous for a model that people are starting to use to get information. So I think Apple's got the right play here. As a matter of fact, did you see their stock jump when they announced what their AI offerings are going to be?
Yep.
Because they are going forward with us in mind, and they're the first company to really step out and be able to do that.
So Pete, to summarize, when Apple Intelligence is really going, we should be able to use a lot of it's kind of like Siri on steroids in a way. Is that?
Yeah,
I
I like that classification. I do. And they gave us a concession too. It is like Siri on steroids, where it's got the context of your iCloud account and all the things associated with it. But it is going to reach out to ChatGPT at times to use the large language model there. But it is only going to do so after it has stripped any data that is contextual to you. So its partnership with OpenAI to access ChatGPT is one of privacy first. And OpenAI had to make that concession. Apple said, you want to be on our devices, you're going to do it in a way where you don't receive our customers' data. And they agreed to that. So I think that was very smart, but it'll be limited. You can't just talk to their AI like you can with ChatGPT. You'll have to do it in the context of Siri, asking Siri to go get information for you, or in the context of the new utilities they've built into all their core applications. So for instance, in Pages, if you make a sketch of a cat, you sketch out a stick figure of a cat, and then you circle it a whole bunch of times, AI will turn that into an image of a cat in approximately the form that you had drawn. So it's things like that where the integration is amazing. And I think we're all going to get a ton of use out of it once it is released. But it isn't the standard AI offerings you see elsewhere, like large language models or image generators or even voice synthesizers. It's a totally different thing that we haven't seen implemented yet anywhere. I can't wait to open up iOS 18 for the first time and start poking around in those AI features. I think that's going to be fun.
Kristen has a hand up.
Yeah, Pete, how do you then reconcile, you say you have arguments with AI because it doesn't know very much, and that's stuff you do know. But then when it's stuff you don't know, like about your new puppy, how do you feel like, oh, it knows this stuff is right? I know when,
Yes.
like you said, the web search, I'll search on the web and I'll kind of pick, it takes a long time, but I'll pick and choose what seems to be correct. Well, I'm still guessing, but and if AI just gives you a certain answer, how do you deal with that?
Great question. Yeah, let's take those two categories, like you mentioned. Something about my dog's first cycle, I really know nothing about, and I approach it almost the same way as Googling something. Right? I look at the results, I listen to what it's saying, and if it's feels generally accurate enough, I guess I don't have any reason to question it. However, there are some things that I've argued with AI about that I know about, and I know where they're right and where they're wrong, and I dig in really deep with these AI language models because I want to know, like, I'll even ask it, ask me questions to help you understand what I'm asking you. And it'll give me a list of questions like, please answer the following question so I can understand this context better. And then I'll say stuff like, I want you to answer a question, but you may not manipulate the data or use a narrative of any kind, and it will say, I'll do my best. And it doesn't. It is unable to do anything but what the programmers have told it to do. So I have a very weary eye about AI and what it spits out, but probably the same weary eye that I've always had with Google search results. I've got to take it with a grain of salt, sort of. It sounds like, for instance, I'll ask ChatGPT all the time, what are 3 vegetables I can feed my dog that they can eat a lot of or something? And it'll say, and I believe it generally, but I know I could go Google it if I didn't believe it. So it's sort of, I take it with a grain of salt. It seems to know what it's talking about, like when I tell it my air conditioner model and it tells me here's the steps to take, and they all line up with what it's saying. I guess I'm trusting in those cases, but for some things, it just really is a shady or sort of gray area with AI.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, this is my final slide on the AI stuff. This is a graphic from the keynote. This is Craig Federighi, of course. Everything shown on the list, there's obviously more. There's a chat GPT integration. Siri's going to get help from it. Generative AI emoji generation. I have a whole bunch of notes about all this stuff, but time's running out here. Photos cleanup. The Notes app's going to get a lot of help. Mail, of course, will get help. Notifications. Your phone will be able to capture audio recordings within the phone app and automatically transcribe and have a summary generated. Of course, and everyone on the call will get an alert to say that it's being recorded. And of course, Apple's commitment to privacy. Your data is only used for your request, and as far as many tasks are possible on hand device. For anything that requires processing by the cloud, Apple uses the private cloud compute, which are server-based Apple Silicon machines to power through complex requests. And so that's how they're going to approach that.
Hand up.
Yeah. All the links generated tonight and more will be distributed in a PDF by Bob White in his normal MacNexus email blast. I'll post it sooner on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is a great forum for late-breaking curated Apple tech news and support, and we encourage everyone to come check it out. And back to you, Pete.
Hey, thank you.
Does Joan still have a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just going to stick with Q&A for a while. So anybody who has a question, let's queue up because let's talk a bit and get some of your questions answered.
That last screenshot that was shown said something about VOLP calling or something. I don't know what that is.
VoIP, I think is what you saw. Yeah, that's basically Wi-Fi calling. Something that you've probably been using behind the scenes for a long time. It's basically something that Apple built into their phones to use your Wi-Fi to make phone calls instead of the traditional cellular network. VoIP, voice
over internet protocol.
Yeah.
You can use that without without an iPhone or a Android phone, that's available through regular phones, landlines.
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah, I don't
not
know if you got, yeah. Vonage came along after landlines were dwindling down and started saying, hey, you can keep your landline, but we'll put it over IP. So, yeah,
Yeah.
some people still want that. Okay, well, tonight my topics are iOS 18, as you know, which I think Al and I did a pretty good job of walking through. I may have a couple more beats on AI and stuff to share with you, but and then we're going to look at the differences between iMovie and Final Cut Pro. I realize that's probably a fairly limited audience, and so I did want to check in with you all to see, to what extent you'd like me to dive into the differences between iMovie and Final Cut Pro. I'm happy to do on-screen demos of both or either, but I'm also happy to just have a conversation really about what people's aspirations are with video content creation and sort of reasons why one might choose iMovie over Final Cut Pro or vice versa. So before we jump in, I just want to continue to scan the room for questions or invite people to come on and ask questions. Every question is a good question, so maybe this is a good moment for us to explore Magnifier. I think we said after this we were going to have a look,
Sure.
and so I'm happy to share my screen.
Yeah, good idea.
Yep. Oh, I just saw a question there. Is Final Cut a paid program? Yeah, Final Cut Pro is $50 per year as a subscription, and iMovie is free. So let me see. Can I share my screen? Share screen. Start. Okay, I should be sharing. I gotta be careful because this is going out to YouTube. So let's see. Settings. That's what I need. Okay, so I'm gonna go in settings, and this is the same settings app basically on Mac OS as it is iOS, but I'm just gonna put in magnifier here in the search. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, let's switch that up. I'm going to go to accessibility.
Well, either that or control center.
I wanted to avoid going right there, really just to get to the entry in settings, just so you could see what some of the options are for it, especially how to assign it to a button. Really surprised that they buried it from being able to search for it in settings. That is interesting.
What device are you on right
now? The new iPad M3.
Oh. Okay. On your, let's go to Control Center.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is just search for the app instead. So I know Control Center will allow me to invoke it, but I really would like to also. Okay, so I just searched for the app and you can see it has popped up there called Magnifier. It's on every one of your devices that has a camera. Let me rephrase that. An iOS device that has a camera. I'm just going to open up Magnifier here. And there's the arcade. Let's see. I'm going to just grab something here, maybe this bag of chips. And with Magnifier, I can really zoom, as you can see, zoom in. That's way too much even, but then hit the button. I now have a picture that I can even zoom out of, but if you had very tiny serial number type text that you wanted to magnify, you certainly can do that. Now, a bag of chips isn't a great example because there's large text on there for the most part, but there is some small stuff too that I did not focus on. Let me try that again and focus on those tiny numbers there. So I'll X that out and really bring this into focus here. And tap that button. Now the low light performance here makes it really easy to do this where you don't have a ton of light, or you can also opt to turn on the light on your device. You can see I have the little flashlight button here, which allows me to light things up. So if you need to, look inside, see what kind of batteries something takes or something like that, you certainly can or should use the magnifier. Now, what I want to do is go to the settings here in the magnifier app. So I'm just going to hit the settings button. And under settings.
Oh, like, impressive.
Yeah, here under settings, you have primary control is zoom, and then you have other things that you can turn on or activate. So by default, these things aren't particularly activated, but you can add them. So like, for instance, detection mode, I can click plus there. And when I tap done, you'll notice that a new little icon has appeared. If I get my Apple Pencil, a new little icon has appeared. Oh no, it won't allow me to. And that will detect QR codes and text and this kind of stuff too. So if I take a picture of this, let's see, detection mode. This will give me if you have magnifier open and you enable audio descriptions, you can either have this read it, or you can just point it at anything and it'll tell you basically what it is: a room with a television, a couch, and other items. Just go around and maybe it'll capture my water bottle here. Black cylindrical object on a white surface. So that's another feature of magnifier, is being able to have it look at and detect things. That's in detection mode. Here you can do door detection, where you can make it so if a door gets opened or closed, you can have it alert you. You have people detection, where if a person were to walk in the room, you can have it alert you. So there are a lot of different ways to access this. This is called point and speak, where you can point at something and it will speak the audio for you. Magnifier has a bunch of cool stuff, and I highly recommend adding it to your triple click menu. So let's look at that. I'm going to go in settings. And in my settings app, I think I'm just gonna, let's see. Okay. Yeah, so in my settings app, I do have the, oh no, that isn't it. That is weird. Okay. Okay, sorry, this is sort of, what the heck? I think I need to reboot my iPad. Wow, okay. They've moved the utility where you say what you want to happen when you triple click. I think it's in accessibility now, but that's strange. Let me see. Touch Face ID.
Is there a standard on what, like, I haven't ever used triple click. Is there standard? So if I click it right now, something will come up on my iPad?
It should, yeah. Try triple clicking and I bet you get the magnifier popping up. And don't do this, but if you click it 5 times in rapid succession, it'll call the police for you. That's for if there's an emergency, you can reach into your pocket and click that thing 5 times and it will dial both the police, and you can put people you want to notify that there is duress or a problem there. I'm going to have to come back for this question. I'm going to have to answer it at another time, of how you get the triple click to work. They moved it on me, so I don't know where they located it, but I will certainly get back to that. Or maybe it's only, I'm just going to check on the phone. If there's a difference, I'd be shocked, but let me just check here. Triple.
And Mary has a question when you're finished.
Of course.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Mary.
So I'm trying to figure out triple click. I've got Touch ID. I have a brand new iPad Air. And what is triple click? Is it just on the where you do the touch and you just do touch, or is it only on the?
Typically with these devices, you have your volume controls on one panel and then the sleep wake button on another, and that's the one that's usually by itself.
Yeah.
That's the one you triple click. Like watch on my phone, when I triple click it, 1, 2, 3, the magnifier just pops up. And so that triple click gets me the magnifier. There's a setting where you can decide what triple click does. It doesn't have to be the magnifier. You can make it do other things. They just moved it on me, and I don't want to spend a bunch of time, waste a bunch of time looking for it.
Was
But
it action mode?
It looks like
No.
wallet comes up, is what comes up on the iPhone.
That's
is,
double click. Double click is wallet. And
Oh.
no, not the action button. The action button is a new feature on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But no, there is an accessibility option where you get to decide what happens when you triple click that button. Curious to know. But my action button, by the way, it's customizable. When I push my action button, look who pops up. ChatGPT. That's who's set to my action button.
Pete, I found it on the iPhone 15 triple tap.
Thank you, Melissa. Where was it?
Accessibility, touch, back tap, triple tap.
Yeah, but that's a different triple. Oddly enough, that you can tap with 3 fingers on the phone and get a zoom. Don't do it because it's hard to get out of it. but you can do a triple tap on your screen, and that will zoom the contents up, just like zooming it on your Mac.
No, I just did a single finger and tapped 3 times on the back, and for me it came up with magnifier. 2 times came up with, I have my action button set to do the zoom accessibility feature.
Yeah, I think just to clarify, I think what Melissa is talking about, Melissa, you're talking about physically like burping your phone, like tapping the back of it like this, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is another thing. Yet another layer is you can set a triple tap like this to do something. I'm talking about a triple tap on this button, obviously, the home sleep wake button. A triple tap on that is what gets my magnifier. I don't have this set up where you can sort of burp the back of your phone like a baby 3 times and something happens. So there is a lot of nuance here. There's a little bit to dig into there. I just can't find the home button triple tap setting. And I know I will as soon as we hang up. It will pop out at me, but
Have AI find it for you.
let's find out. I'm looking for the setting on my iPhone. I'm using iOS 17 that allows me to set the home button to different commands when it is triple tapped. How do I set what happens to my phone when I triple tap the home button?
To set what happens when you triple tap the home button on your iPhone running iOS 17, you can use the accessibility shortcut feature. Here's how to do it. 1, open the settings app. 2, scroll down and tap accessibility. 3, scroll to the bottom and tap accessibility shortcut. 4, you'll see a list of actions that can be assigned to the triple tap. Select the one you want. This should allow you to customize the triple tap on your home button.
Sometimes you are brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad I could help. Is there anything else you need assistance with?
Not now. All right. Did anybody vet that? Did it work? Let me see. Settings, accessibility. Scroll to the bottom and tap accessibility shortcut. I see it. There it is. You can decide what happens with the triple tap button by selecting accessibility shortcut. You can do Apple Watch mirroring. I happen to have mine on magnifier, but look at all the cool things you can do. One of them is detection mode. If you want to triple tap, set your phone down and have it detect when a door opens or something. I think there's some cool creative stuff you can do here, but mine is set to magnifier. What did you find yours is set to? When you went to accessibility in settings, you scrolled all the way to the bottom and you tapped on accessibility shortcut. What is yours set to? And by the way, while you're looking, the accessibility shortcut is defined as a triple tap on the sleep wake button. That is what is defined as the accessibility shortcut. Mine is set for magnifier, which I might change because the magnifier is also in Control Center.
Mine has magnifier and background sounds. I don't even know what that is.
Interesting. You can see here I'm in Control Center on my device, and the magnifier is, if I scroll down a little further, you can see the magnifying glass with the little plus in it. So magnifier also lives in Control Center unless you don't have it in there. Then you can customize the Control Center to put it in there, which I'll show you next. So here I am in Control Center on my device by swiping down from the top right of the screen. To access Control Center, we just go into Settings, and I'm going to do that now so I can show you what Control Center. When you find the Control Center setting, you can see all of the things that can be added to Control Center next to the green dots here. So I went to Settings, I searched for Control Center, that brought me here, and you can see a list of things that I can add to my Control Center now and not wait till iOS 18. And the things above are the things that are in my Control Center already. If I want to take them out, because in your Control Center is probably like a QR code reader and a bunch of stuff that you don't even use, you can take them right out of there. So it's only the stuff you use in your Control Center. Magnifier should be down here, and you can add that to your Control Center if it's not already there. Now you might be wondering, like, what about sound recognition? What's the big deal about that? Not only do your iOS devices, but your HomePod, if you have a HomePod, you know, Apple's speaker that sits out in the open, you can tell it to detect sounds. And when it does, it'll notify you. So we have used it for dog barking. We don't, we'll put the dog out on the deck, and we don't want them barking and disturbing the neighbors. So there is a HomePod that can hear the dog barking and send me a message saying the dog is barking. These are creative formulas that you can put together with all of these accessibility features, or all of these different features that really make these things fun. But yep. Okay, so we covered, sorry, I just wanted to recap. We covered the accessibility shortcut, which means you triple tap the sleep wake button, and that is under setting. Thank you, AI. That's under settings, and then accessibility, and then scroll down to accessibility shortcut. And then we looked at Control Center. And if we go to settings, search for Control Center, we can customize what's in there. It's not unlimited. There's only a limited number of things you can choose from, but you can at least take out the stuff you don't need and add the stuff you want from there. Okay, let's get back to open Q&A. And thank you for those questions. Okay, yes. Malin. You're still on mute, though.
Yes, thanks for your presentation tonight. I wonder if you could get into Final Cut Pro and iMovie and describe some of the differences that one offers as compared to the other.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. That's next. If there's no more, no more questions or anything about what we've been talking about, I'm happy to dive in there. First, just want to discuss the two platforms and video editing at large. I want to talk a little bit about content creation and use cases for video editing. There are free video editing suites on just about any platform. iOS has one, we call it iMovie. Windows has theirs, what do you call it, Clipchamp. There's all kinds of different free video editing suites. And these video editing suites, will range in capability. But let's first start this conversation by defining what video editing is. And video editing is simply taking clips that you've shot or clips that exist somewhere else, trimming them to just the content you want. So for instance, if you film for 17 minutes at the zoo, so you can capture the lions being fed, you probably want to trim off 16 minutes of that and just keep the 1 minute where they're being fed. And so, video editors have sometimes very simple tasks to complete or very complex tasks to complete, which we'll get into as we climb to Final Cut Pro. I would be remiss if I didn't address, though, that that a lot of people who aren't visual storytellers or content creators really just need a crop tool sometimes. You have a long video and you just want to grab pieces of it, and you don't necessarily want to become a video editor. What I'd like to do is call your attention to some of the features in the Photos app before we even graduate to iMovie and Final Cut Pro. Like, I'll give you a couple of did you knows. Did you know that you can open a video clip on your iOS device, whether it's your iPad or your iPhone, and you can rotate that video now. You used to couldn't rotate a video, but now you can rotate it. If you accidentally shot it in portrait and you want to rotate it to landscape, that's now a utility that is available right in the Photos app. Also, you can crop videos in the Photos app now. So if you wanted a square video of something and not a rectangle, you can go into the video in the Photos app, open it, and simply choose to crop it like you would a photo. And then you can narrow it down to just part of the video, make it whatever size you want. Here is my favorite utility, though, that I think a lot of people may not be aware of. It's a tiny nuance, but when you open the Photos app and you choose a video clip to edit, oftentimes you do just want 20 seconds out of the middle of the clip or to shorten it. When you are done editing the video, and I'll do a we'll do a live demo here in a moment. When you're done editing the video in the Photos app, you get two very interesting options that I think are worth discussing. One option you get when you're done trimming a video in the Photos app is Save Video. So basically what that means is you took a 17-minute video at the zoo, you want to pull down the slider until just the last minute when the lions got fed, and then you click done. Well, it's either going to ask you to save the video like you trimmed it, which if you choose the option of save video, it will shorten the video from 16 minutes to the 1 minute, and that's what will be in your camera roll as a 1-minute video. However, it's important to note that the 16 minutes of that video still exist because you can always revert to the original. So if you think you're trimming to get rid of some bulk on your drive and you're hoping to clean that up a little bit, that isn't the way, because even when you save the video at 1 minute, the 16 minutes is still saved. So at any time later, you can go back and undo your changes. Now, what I like better is when you click done is the part you isolated in the video, and in the live demo, you'll see how I can isolate part of a video. That will then say save as new clip. I really like save as new clip because there may be a video with 5 different parts that you like. So you open it up, you isolate one part with the trim, and then when you click done, you say save as new clip. So now you still have the old one with 4 more parts that you want to get to and 1 short part that you've sort of parsed out of the longer video. Let's do a live demo so you can kind of see that. This will be our graduation right into iMovie and then to Final Cut Pro. But I'd be remiss if we didn't talk a bit about the powerful capabilities of the Photos app. So let me just open that up, get onto a video that we can edit together. And yeah. Okay, let's do this one. I'm going to share my screen. Let me head back over to Zoom, do my screen share. Share content, screen, start. Okay, over to photos. Last night was my wife's birthday, and she requested a blueberry cake with lemon frosting. We were able to pick the blueberries from the yard, and here is the video of the cake. I want to edit this video here live. Oh, but let's just see the reveal. How did that cake look? Did I put enough blueberries in it? I did not put enough blueberries in it. However, I think I saved the day with a brief compote that I created that we just poured right. Oh yes, that made it. Now that's a long video. I don't need all that. I really just want maybe the end where the little topping is being poured. Let me tap the edit button in my upper right here. Now it's going to download that video so we can get into the editing part of it. Now from here, I have the crop command. If I wanted to make this just a square, I can just say, well, the only really part I care about is right there. Great. That's my crop command there. And then I'll go back to the video. And if you look down towards the bottom of my screen, you will see the thumbnail where I can take the playhead with my finger and just scrub it back and forth. That is the playhead that allows me to scrub through the video. Now you'll see a little chevron on the right and left with a play button. So all the way to the left of the little thumbnails is a play button, which if I click play, there it is. Let me mute that. Click play. Now there's these little chevrons. There's one on the beginning and one on the end. And so I can use this to basically isolate just the part of the video that I wanted, which is right there when we're pouring the sauce. Notice in my thumbnail film strip down at the bottom, I have taken the two chevron sliders and I have isolated the part of the video that I want. Now, when I click the done button in the upper right here, I'll click done. I get my two options there. Save video. Now, what save video means is it'll take my changes, lock them in, and this video will now appear in my Photos app like this with my edits. Keeping in mind that all of the video that I cut out, and if you look at my thumbnail down at the bottom there, I probably cut out 2/3 of the video, that will all continue to exist and take up space on my drive because it is not really deleting it, it's just masking it. Then option 2 there is save video as new clip. In my opinion, that is the one, or I guess in my observation, that's the one I tend to use the most because it preserves both my new video and leaves the old one alone in case I want to go back to it and do something else with it. So there are the video editing capabilities of the Photos app that's already on your device. Some of you may have seen that and go, oh, great, I didn't know that. I don't even need iMovie or Final Cut Pro anymore, which if so, great. But if not, let's now get into why one might graduate from here to a Final Cut Pro or an iMovie. Video editing is a lot less glamorous than it sounds like. Video editing sounds, there are visual storytellers who are making blockbuster films, and that is exciting. But most of us, video editing basically just means putting clips on a timeline, trimming them to the duration we want, and making sure they're in the right order. Now, along the way, we may want to add some transitions and even some music. That is video editing in a nutshell. Now, what are next steps after you've mastered those? I think color correction, retiming, overlays, different motion graphics, and that sort of thing are sort of what come next. So iMovie is a free utility that is on all iOS devices. It's on the phone. There's a version of iMovie for the phone. There's a version of iMovie for the iPad. And there's a version of iMovie for the Mac. So basically on all Apple platforms, iMovie is available, and it is Apple's free video editing suite. I'm going to launch iMovie here on the iPad and share my screen to do a live demo. iMovie has some remarkable features that I'm excited to talk about because I don't think they're real commonly known. So let me just get in here and go back over to iMovie. Here we are in iMovie. I've just opened the app and you can see here it's asking me, what would you like to do? There are 3 options along the bottom there, as you can see. One is called Magic Movie, one is called Storyboard, and the other one is Movie. Now, as an iMovie user, what I must know about these 3 things is, number 1, Magic Movie is sort of done for you. It creates the photos and videos in a row for you. It's very similar to what happens in your Photos app. When you open it and it says we have a new memory for you, and you click it and it plays with music and photos and videos from perhaps a picnic or an outing that you went on. Magic Movie is very similar to that. It's going to pick photos and videos that it thinks highlights the people that you spend time with and that sort of thing. So it's an automated way to create something, which isn't what people typically visit a video editor for, right? People don't go to a video editing app and say, oh, make it all for me by yourself. Usually video editing is a little bit more hands-on. I also at this point want to call your attention to another free application from Apple. It is an Apple coded application and it's called Clips, C-L-I-P-S, Clips. And Clips is, gosh, like iMovie for Gen Alpha, let's say. What Clips does is allows you, oh, here I am in Clips. Hopefully I'm still sharing. Allows you to do cool and interesting things. Like, you know, make yourself a character like this. I'm in the Clips app now using this. There are stickers and various effects that I can, let's see, put on here. Let's see, maybe a speech, speech recognition. So Clips will, you know, while I'm recording, it'll capture my words here while I record. So I think while we're talking about iMovie, the Clips app is something that for those curious about iMovie, I highly encourage you to explore the Clips app as well. Ton of very cool things that they've built into here. Stickers that you can put right on the screen with the subject here. Let me give me a little nose like that. Okay. So check out Clips app too if you're one of those interested in video editing and messing around with video. Now back to iMovie. Here I'm back in iMovie. I wanted to kind of show Clips as a complement to the Magic Movie thing. I used Clips the other day. I was making a video for my daughter. She sent me a Father's Day gift. I wanted her to see me using it in the yard. I was out by the blueberry bush picking blueberries and basically used Clips to put all these little thoughts together as a thank you and was able to easily share it. So don't disregard Clips. It's good for just a quick video you want to make for somebody, an explainer video. Somebody says, hey, I really like the way you cut up watermelon. Can you film yourself doing it? I have a very cool technique for cutting watermelon where it never touches the surface you're cutting it on. That's important for me. But you know, I've used Clips for things like that as well. So I think don't ignore Clips. Check that out. It's a very agile, easy to use app. Record, send very quickly. You don't have to get into a full nonlinear video editor like iMovie. But the second option down there is called Storyboard. I love this option because sometimes you just need a creative prompt. Sometimes you need a little help. You need somebody who knows what they're doing to say, well, in a video, here's what you might do. Storyboard gives you a bunch of categories. So I just tapped on Storyboard and there's a bunch of categories for different things I might want to do. Do I want to make a trailer, a movie trailer? Am I doing a book report? Is this a product pitch? Is it a top 5 video? Is it a how it works video? So what I'm going to do is just tap DIY. Here we are in Storyboards. I'm going to tap DIY. And then it is going to ask me to pick a theme or a style for my video. It has a bunch of different categories here to choose from. I think I will just choose charm. That looks nice. And there it is. I'm going to choose that and then click create. Now, when I do that, what iMovie has done is cleverly created a shot list on the left. Do you see this shot list? It's basically saying, all right, Pete, if you want to make a DIY video, here's what we recommend. And you can see my list there. If I tap on medium shot, it's basically saying, do a medium shot and then do a wide shot. It even gives you some advice. Show a view of your workspace. Then go back to a medium shot and then supplies. Let's do a wide shot on your supplies. How about a close-up? Now, what you can do here, if you're in iMovie and you want to create this movie from the placeholders, you can now film right from the iPad if you want. You can take the video that it's recommending that you take right here from the iPad. So take a video or photo, turn on my camera. Oh, it's telling me video recording not available while I'm on a call. That makes sense. Let me get out of here. Cancel.
2 hands up.
Okay, hands up. Let me take that question. Go ahead. I can't see you because I'm sharing my screen,
Okay.
but yeah, go ahead.
It's Joan. You talk about clips. Is it another app? I didn't see anything that said clips.
Yep, Clips is another free app by Apple. I think, yeah, it's sort of a social media version, not social media, because I'm not on social media. I don't like social media. I'm not a fan, but it's more of a catchy, colorful, glitchy, interesting type of video treatment than iMovie or the Photos app itself. It is free. It's by Apple. It's called Clips, Clips. And I highly recommend you take a look at it. It is fun. It makes taking videos fun. Okay, so here we are in the middle of our shot list, and we're going down and creating the shots that are here. If you don't want one of the shots, you can easily swipe it away with the delete button here, and you could replace it with something else if you wanted by just clicking add, clicking the plus button. So I do like that you can start a project where it will give you a storyboard and you go out and shoot those shots that it is recommending to you on the storyboard that's given. But then there's just movie. I'm going to click that one now, and movie is a regular old movie. This is where you will create a project from scratch, basically. So I'm just going to click create movie, and I'd like to tour this interface with you briefly and show you a bit about how simple yet complex a video editing application can be. From here, I can, well, the first thing we want to do is get something on the timeline. Currently, the timeline, which is the lower half of the screen, the entire lower half of the screen is our timeline, is empty. Got nothing there. So the first thing I want to do is get something in there. The screen appears to be divided into quadrants, but it isn't. It's three sections. The bottom half is the timeline. The upper left is where you select media, and the upper right is where you choose different types of media to put in your project. So I'm going to tap. Oh, yes. Oh, it won't let me record something. So let me just add a video. I'm going to go into my videos here and find something to add. We did a little bit of filming at a coffee shop yesterday. I might as well select that and bring it down to the timeline. Now, one thing about iMovie is while we're selecting the videos we want, I am able to not take the whole video down there, but to only get part of it if I want. I think what I'll do is just add the whole thing to the timeline here, and you can watch it pop in. So what I've done is I opened iMovie, I chose a video clip from my camera roll, set it down onto the timeline, and now I'm able to scrub through that. Now I am wearing a shirt that says stylish techie in this video. I think stylish is probably the furthest thing from the truth, but it was a shoot I was doing for work. We're making a training video. So this is official HP business. You're seeing behind the scenes here. But now what we've done is called non-linear video editing. We're now putting our clips on a timeline and then using the editing software to create, let's see, I'm going to create another clip alongside this one. So I'm going to add that. And now what I've done is created 2 clips or added 2 clips to the timeline here. And so upper left is my viewer to show me what I'm editing. Upper right is my media that I can pull from various different places, and the timeline below. So let me click play here. I don't think these have any audio, which we recorded that on a separate track. Okay, so these do not have audio. So what I'm going to do is add some music. I think I'll just add some background music to this. I'm going to do that by going into my audio here and go to soundtracks. iMovie has a bunch of soundtracks in here. When I first started editing video, I really like to use my own songs. I like to use, well, I shouldn't say my own. I like to use Boston, More Than a Feeling, or Blue Oyster Cult, some cool song. But I quickly realized that that's not my art. I don't get to use it. That's somebody else's, and I got to either ask permission or pay in order to use it. So iMovie provides you with a bunch of royalty-free stuff. All the stuff that's provided here by iMovie, you can use without fear. You can use without fear of licensing infringement, and that sort of stuff is basically royalty-free here. So if I click add, you can see a green strip has now appeared along the bottom, and my little video composition now has sound. So if I click play, yeah, for some reason here, say done, edit, play. Now you can see that there is 2 clips here, and they're shown. The break in the 2 clips is shown by a little bow tie icon right there. A little bow tie icon between the 2 clips. That's a transition, and transitions are easily added here in iMovie. There's slides and wipes and fades and all different transitions that you can choose from. So when we go from one scene to the other, it fades nicely. So you can add transitions. If you wanted to shorten one of your clips, you simply tap on it and drag the end of the clip to then originate right where you want. So right where I sit down here is probably where we want that to start. And I don't like the order anymore. I think this should be first. So I'm just going to drag it ahead of the other clip and drop it in. Now that's first. And sit down, open that up, and all good.
Keith has had his hand up for a while.
Oh, please. Yeah. Thanks for signaling me because I can't see. So yeah,
Oh,
please.
okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
And there's
What
one other.
version of iMovie are you using?
I'm running iOS 17 on iPad OS 17 on an iPad. So this is the iPad version. There is a Mac version that is very similar, but a little bit different in the interface.
Okay, because I've never seen some of the way the media shows.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of that, in the upper right section here, where it says media, there's lots of different things to choose from here. You can. One of the misconceptions. I'm going to delete everything off of our timeline that we built so far. Let me just delete this stuff. Wow. I'm going to quit the app.
Let me break in. Keith, have you got a question?
Yes, I do. I don't use video editing very often, but I was listening to some kind of a training program, and it suggested to me I buy an app called CapCut. Apple app, or at least it runs on Apple computers, and it doesn't cost anything. And it was supposedly easier to use than iMovie. And I wondered if you've ever heard of CapCut, and if you have you ever compared it to iMovie to see which is the pros and cons of doing one versus the other?
Yeah, good question. CapCut is an application that was made famous by TikTok editors, right? CapCut was sort of TikTok's built-in utility for editing videos. I don't find CapCut particularly useful unless you're looking for a bunch of special effects. Like if you wanted to take a photo and have flash bulbs and have it, spin around and turn into another photo or another video clip. I think CapCut is good for that kind of stuff. Easier than iMovie, sure, because it's not a nonlinear video editing in the same sense, editor in the same sense. But I would argue that Clips is as easy, if not easier, than CapCut. So for our ears, us iOS using ears, if somebody does recommend a CapCut type of thing to you, I recommend you try Clips because Clips, made by Apple, it's a bit easier to use than CapCut. CapCut has a bunch of garbage in there that's really hard to get past sometimes. So my opinion of CapCut was that it wasn't great, but if you just want to quickly edit something that's going to go on social media or whatever, I think that's sort of why it was born. So yes, CapCut is out there, and
So maybe I'll try Clips. What I use it primarily for is to get rid of video at the beginning or end of something, and I've taken for several, 20 or 30 seconds to trim it down to what it is I really want to look at. So it's not very what I'm doing it or what I want to do it for.
Did you see the demo I did in Photos where you can trim your clips there? Is there anything compelling you not to use that? Oh.
I watched it, but I didn't record it or pay attention to.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I would recommend, Keith is saying, hey, I use another app called CapCut because sometimes there's too much time on the end or beginning of my video. I want to cut them off. Do that right in Photos. It's quite easy and works very well. And the photo gets to stay in your Photos library. It doesn't have to be imported into CapCut or anything like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Sure. Just some other things about iMovie. Or wait, were there any other questions?
Barbara?
Yeah, Pete, I missed how you got the audio.
Oh, great. Yeah. Let me show you here. I am now going to call attention to the upper right here, this area where you see all this list of stuff. And there is a tab. You can see media is lit up in blue right now. You see, oh, hey, look, my Apple Pencil will light it up. Media is lit up in blue, but next to it is audio. So if we tap on that, there you have where you have soundtracks, which is what Apple is providing as royalty-free music. You have My Music, which is a little bit misleading because it doesn't let you use anything that's copyrighted. So here I am in my music library, and I want to use a song like Alexander Hamilton, it'll say this song is protected and can't be used by iMovie. So I think the reason it says My Music is if you have composed something yourself, it would be in there. And then sound effects. That's another fun one where you can put any of these sound effects in there royalty free. So there's lots of different ones. Lots of different fun audio there. And then in media, I wanted to point out that you've got stuff like backgrounds where you can pull some of these solids or patterns right onto your timeline. Let's say you wanted to start from a black screen and fade into your video. Let's try that. I'm going to select the black screen and throw it down on my timeline. I can widen it out to however long I want. You can see my time code right next to it. So I'm going to go to 10 seconds with that. And then when I go to my media and bring in a video, let's see, I'll go to video and recently added. I'll just scroll down to maybe this one here. We'll add that. Now you can see that it starts out with a black screen when I click play, but then once my 10 seconds is up, it will give me the nice fade. So the black screen is a great place to throw some titles. So from the same menu, we can do some titling here. I'm going to select that black background that I just put in from the media menu and go to titles and just throw something in there. Doesn't really matter what, but I'm going to click it.
Excuse me, Pete.
Yes.
As we move close to coming up to the end of the program, will there be time to move into Final Cut Pro for a bit about its features?
Yes. Yep. Let me do that now. So a nonlinear video editor such as this will give you the ability to I've got text here and transitions and music and video. So almost everything one might need for nonlinear video editing. There is some slight color corrections and this sort of thing that you can do here. There's some sort of like time remapping that you can do where I can slow down or speed up time. So it has all the basics one might need in a nonlinear video editor. Now I'm going to launch Final Cut Pro and talk a little bit about Final Cut Pro's interface and how it differs quite a bit from iMovie. Just the first thing I want to point out is there is a new feature in Final Cut Pro called multi-cam editing. And as you can see, let's see from this clip here, I was able to record multiple angles using iPhones. This is the moment I was talking about earlier where we set up iPhones, we connected them to Final Cut, and Final Cut Pro was accepting the live feed from the iPhones wirelessly. We had them set up at different parts of the coffee shop, and it was wirelessly accepting both of those live feeds. So the very first difference I would point out in the differences between iMovie and Final Cut Pro is the absolutely breathtaking ability to set up your iPhones in an interview style and have those all record into Final Cut Pro wirelessly just by using the Final Cut camera app that Apple made available. So along with Final Cut Pro is a companion app called Final Cut Camera. And in Final Cut Camera, you can do live streaming right into your Final Cut Pro project. Used it yesterday. It was a really remarkable experience. Now, some of the other things about Final Cut Pro as it differs from what we just looked at in iMovie are things like very deep color correction is one thing that I'll point out there. So here in Final Cut Pro, very similar to iMovie, in the upper right sort of quadrant here or section, I have the media, very similar to what iMovie had. But the depth of this media, much, much deeper. I've got graphics and generators and things like that. Remember before, when we put a background on the timeline, it was just a static color. But here in Final Cut Pro, the backgrounds are dynamic. You can change the colors of the background or the settings of each of these backgrounds. There's some really cool stuff in here and stuff, I highly recommend you check some of it out if you're a Final Cut Pro user. But graphics and generators, but also under effects, if we go to my little coffee house footage here, there are tons of video, what's called a LUT. LUT is the acronym, a LUT. Light Utility Table, I believe is what it is. Might be wrong about the U, but it basically says, hey, go ahead and colorize your video with what's called a LUT. So as you can see here, I'm going to drag a colorization LUT and drop it on top of my video for a now stylized video with the color corrections that make it pop in today's modern sort of and there's tons here to choose from. Desaturated with low contrast, I can drag that on and take a look. Didn't like that, I just used the undo key. How's this high contrast with silver highlights? Let's check that out. I just drag it right onto the clip and I can scrub back and forth and see how I like that change. Final Cut Pro is a pro level application with other utilities like this jog wheel. I find this jog wheel to be almost magical. You can see it on the lower right corner of the screen there. I'm operating it with my thumb, and it has inertia, meaning that if I spin it quickly, it's going to keep spinning until I stop it. It allows me, if you look at the playhead on my timeline, it allows me to quickly traverse through various areas of my video and go frame by frame in places where I want to get stopped on exactly the right place. Once I've stopped it where I want it, I can trim my clip right to that spot and continue on to the jog wheel to go through and edit my video. The Apple Pencil has also provided some remarkable utilities in Final Cut Pro, allowing me to make surgical edits using the Apple Pencil. Really remarkable stuff. Let's see, the effects browser, the jog wheel, those are some things that differ from Final Cut Pro. I wanted to talk about titles too. Final Cut Pro does titles obviously way better than iMovie. There are tons of titles here available. Some are, sorry, I keep getting that error message. Some are lower thirds, some are headline. You just, if you look through here, this Pro editing suite has a ton, probably as many varieties as you'd hope for. Same with transitions. These transitions are some remarkable transitions, some pro level transitions. And then when it comes to motion graphics, you really can utilize Final Cut Pro's keyframing features to put motion graphics in here. For instance, if I have a PNG with a transparent background, maybe of the HP logo that I want to put in the upper left-hand corner, I can easily drag that onto the Final Cut timeline. Unlike iMovie, which doesn't allow the freedom of stacking different assets on the timeline freely. You can do some things in iMovie like overlay and green screen and stuff like that, but it's very limited on purpose. They want to keep you sort of on a simple track there. But Final Cut Pro, I find there are no limitations whatsoever in terms of a mobile video editing suite. One of the cons, in my opinion, is that the iPad screen is somewhat small, and I do like a lot of real estate when I edit video, but USB-C out to another monitor is very easy to do, and I can have the video reference on a monitor while I edit on the iPad. Hopefully I've captured most of the major differences, obviously, between the free iMovie suite and the $50 per year Final Cut Pro suite. But there's those changes in a nutshell, and I know we're getting pretty close to time. I'd like to take questions about either.
There's one in the chat. Do you need an iPad Pro? Is an iPad Pro needed for Final Cut?
Yeah, good question. Yes, for Final Cut Pro, there is a pretty high demand on specs. Al, I don't know if I could lean on you to maybe post what the compatibility chart is for Final Cut Pro, but it isn't just any old iPad. You do have to have, I believe, M1 and above, if I'm not mistaken.
And I have a question. When did Final Cut go to a subscription?
What was it, about a year ago? Because I just got rebilled for it. So yeah, this is the second year of subscription, I think.
Is that just for the iPad, or is it for the Mac as well?
I think the Mac is still $299.
Okay.
And those of us who have had it as legacy software, we're not charged for that, right?
Right.
You use it on the Mac.
Right. On the Mac, you've purchased it, unless they upgrade to Final Cut Pro 2.0 and then they do a new pricing model or something like that. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that yet, but I would imagine they'll update that as well over time. But I think that's a one-time purchase of $299 still. And if you've purchased it, you are grandfathered in. Yeah. Whew, that was a fun one.
Good stuff. Are you still on tap to do the Saturday class first Saturday, Pete?
Let me check in with Mary. Mary, am I first Saturday?
That's
you might be muted.
Told.
Okay.
I believe you are, Pete. I'm hoping you are, because I think that this is one of those things that Ken said he isn't as familiar with the iMovie and all that stuff as you are.
Great. Well, I'm going to text you, Mary, and make sure Bob has the description that he needs and stuff. But that sounds fine to me. But I just want, hey, thank you again. My favorite crowd to hang out with. I really appreciate. Oh, my camera went off. I want to do a send off there. I really appreciate the time. It's my favorite hangout. Your questions are always hard hitting, and I love that. I love being challenged, and this group always gives me the challenges. So thank you very much for that. It was my pleasure to be here tonight, and I can't wait till next time. Don't forget, keep those suggestions coming on what you'd like to see for the next one, and I'm always happy to tailor my presentation to exactly what it is you need. And since it is the witching hour here, I probably will head out. Oh, go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so please, if anybody's got any suggestions, give them to one of the board members. And actually, I've been the contact on some of this stuff, so let me know. But just kind of how we got iMovie in, somebody had asked about it. And then stay tuned, the rest of you, for the raffle.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
We'll
Pete.
see,
Talk to
you
you
next
soon,
time.
buddy.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Would any of my fellow board members be willing to save me from my Siri malfunctionality?
Randy, help him out.
I asked, he didn't respond, so I wasn't sure. Are
Oh,
we
you
good
got
with
it.
that, Randy?
Happy to.
All
Happy to.
right, Graham, thank you.
Okay, well, for tonight, we have the two sections, of course, starting with those who have been with us on Zoom. And we do 4 $25 gift certificates and 2 $100 gift certificates. And once we're done with that, we'll turn it over to Mary, and she'll work with Randy to do the all-member $100 gift certificate. So Randy, your goal for tonight is we've got 44 participants for the Zoom portion of the raffle.
Great, no problem. So we'll do the first 4 for $25. And I'll get Siri working here and turn it up so you can all hear. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 44.
A random number between 1 and 44 is 8.
8.
Number 8 is Carol Becker.
Hey, that's 2 months in a row.
All right. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 44.
It's 1.
1.
Well, Al, congratulations, Mr. Trivet.
Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 44.
It's 41.
41.
Okay, now I gotta scroll down.
Yeah.
41, Royce Thompson.
Woohoo. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 44.
It's 43.
Wow, 43.
Well, Mr. Spencer.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
Woohoo.
Okay, we're doing 2 at 100 right now.
Correct.
And so as it would be said that if you have a 100, someone say how it works. So if you have 100, you can give the 25 back if you're a previous winner, right? So
Correct. Well, you can give either one back, but
either one, your choice.
Yeah.
we presume you'll give back the 25.
Right. Okay. Here we go for the first of 2 $100 available. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 44.
A random number between 1 and 44 is 12.
12.
Right, reaching up, Dale Steele.
Woohoo.
Nice.
Woohoo.
The last $100 raffle. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 44.
A random number between 1 and 44 is 17.
Good mix of numbers.
Indalus Connens.
Boy, Indalus wins a lot.
Yeah.
Lucky vibes, Indalus.
Yeah.
Great. So now I need the total membership to be included in the raffle for the last all member $100.
That's you, Mary?
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm waiting for him to call the number, and it is between 1 and 243.
243. All right, here we go. Good luck to everybody. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 243.
That would be 139.
139, let's scroll on up, and it is Steve Martorano.
Hey, hey.
We don't know Steve. I mean, I haven't seen Steve, so I don't know him. So
He hasn't been to a meeting long time. He used to write sports for the Union and then the Bee.
Oh. Oh, I saw that name.
Okay.
So
Now I will send him a email saying you'll be receiving an email soon from Amazon. No, it's not a scam. So be prepared, Bob, for another email coming your way. Saying, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. This person sent me an email. I don't trust her for a minute. All right.
Yeah,
thanks,
folks,
everybody. Have a good evening.
Congrats,
Yes,
everybody.
thanks so much. Great meeting. Thanks for coming. Have a
got the
great
chat
month.
saved.
Is someone saving
Excellent.
the chat?
I
Yeah,
got it.
Al did. Yeah.
Great, great.
And I will stop the recording.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
All right.
all.
Good night, folks.
care.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing up. Good job,
Derek was
Thomas.
saying
All right.
something.
Thanks, guys. Great work, folks.
Yeah, we made it through another one.
Oh,
thank you for a
yeah.
good job there, Tomas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. My pleasure.
Yep.
Now, you sent us an email on percentages, election percentages. I wasn't clear on that, Bob. Do you know what I'm saying?
We're trying to decide, we
Quorum.
want to change the
Oh,
bylaws to what's a quorum for an election, because it's got that weird wording presently.
oh, okay. I got
And
it.
so
Okay.
you guys said, let's see what the numbers have been over the last few elections. So I send it to you ahead of time so you can take a look at it.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Super.
it's for the next board meeting.
All righty. Excellent.
Okay, and I'll verify. I hope Pete, I thought he had it on his calendar for Saturday, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So if not, scramble time. So
Lord.
all right, I'll be in touch with Pete and then I'll get back to
Okay.
you, Bob.
Okay.
Or he can, if he gets in touch with you directly, just let me know, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Will do.
thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Thank
Night,
you.
night.
Have a good
See you
evening.
soon. I gotta get this puppy turned off. Into Zoom. Okay. Oops. Okay, where is it? Turn on. Oh, I guess when I'm in